It's your girl again, Yehudi Chagall, and I wanted to put a little disclaimer out there. I know people have a hard time pronouncing my name, and they feel as though they can just butcher it and not say it the right way. That's not right, y'all. Just because you don't know the proper pronunciation of someone's name does not mean that that gives you the right to be ignorant and butcher their name. If you don't understand how to pronounce my name, then ask me. I will gladly write the little enunciations out for you because that's ignorant. Okay? So, my name for YouTube is Yehudi Chagall, which translates to Hebrew Queen. Y'all will find out more about that later on when I do more introduction of myself, but don't do that, y'all, because I wouldn't do that to you. So just ask that you respect me as well. Yehudi, you can just call me Yehudi Chagall, not Yehuda, Chagall, Yehuhu. No, it's Yehudi Chagall. Come on, y'all, be mindful, okay? So now that that's in the clear, I did want to come today and do a video, and I told you guys I wanted to kind of keep everything transparent. I wanted you guys to get a feel of me, and I feel like testimonies and stories are the best way to find out about somebody, what they've been through in their life, what they're going through, any advice that they can have. And I told you guys before, I don't know if I said it on here or Instagram, but I did say that it's important to talk to people because people have been through things in the past, and you know, we're here to learn from each other, and somebody might have the answers and solutions to something or a problem that you might not have known about had you not reached out and let people know that you were dealing with some things, you know. And so we all can learn from each other, and I think that's a lot of the times people don't understand that, you know. So I just wanted to also just say that as well. I'm going to be sharing one of my deepest stories thus far, because it has taken a significant part of my young adult to adult life, as far as being me and my life. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I feel as though it may be therapeutic for me, and why not use my pain, things that I've been through, and use it to transfer that energy into something good, you know, like a solar panel. So we're going to call this a solar panel testimonies, okay? Now this one is a very personal story of mine. Unless you know me directly, you really don't know this story, but it's a deep story to me. Might not be to you, but it is a big part of my life and something I've been dealing with for a very long time now. So this is a long story, and I will divide it into 3 parts, 3 or 4 parts. I'm not too sure. We'll see how things go, but I will be dividing it up appropriately. And I think next time maybe I'll do like a story time, where maybe I'm doing like some makeup, or maybe I'm doing some pastels, neon pastel drawing, or something I like to do because I do like arts and crafts, and I can just share my story through that as well. But I do want to have more of these story times because I want you guys to get a feel of me and what I've been through, so you'll have a better understanding of who I am. Now, for confidentiality purposes and to protect the integrity of all the parties involved, I have changed the name of the people that are in my story, okay? So, I'm going to start by telling one of the deepest stories, one of the most traumatic, relevant stories, you know, that's important to me. What sparked this is I've just been dealing with some emotional things lately, and I feel like this could be therapeutic for me to get it out, you know, because it just weighs on me, you know, and maybe I can release some of that energy, and we'll see. Okay, so this story will be about this story. It's not a story, it's my past. It's a story in my past. It's a river. It's a milestone that I had to cross, a river that I had to cross to get to where I am now. So we'll start off by talking about the part 1 of today. I want to tell you guys about my ex. Okay, those of you know me, you know him very well, but we will call him, let's see, Let's call him Leo, okay? My ex Leo. We're gonna talk about that story. All right, now, how did we meet? Now, at the time, I'm kind of retro. I'm kind of old school. I'm 34, but you guys who are in your 30 club, y'all might be able to relate to a little thing called MySpace, if you remember it. So, at the time, this is how we met. And then let me give a little backstory with that. I've always dealt with my weight. I've always been a heavier girl, but at this point in my life, I was more so chubby, but I've also always been heavy. I always had some extra weight on me. So at the time, I was transitioning coming from New Orleans, Louisiana, because of Hurricane Katrina, to Georgia, where I'm at now. And I didn't really know anybody. I had a male friend who we will call my male friend Leo. We will call my ex Terrence, okay? Work with me, y'all, okay? I hope I don't mess it up, but I'm trying. So we will call my male friend Leo, and we will call my ex Terrence, okay? So my friend Leo, I had met him a long time ago. I used to be on those little internet chats, like the little ludicrous chats and everything, and I had met him through that a long time ago. So we had been talking via chat as friends for years before I even came to Georgia. And surprised that my mom ended up wanting to come to Georgia after we had left Katrina, as we had left New Orleans. I'm from Virginia, but we spent 2 years in New Orleans. So she had wanted to come to Georgia, after Katrina. So, that was cool. But so we went there, and I had met up with my friend Leah, who I already previously know. This is the only person that I knew coming to Savannah. I didn't know anybody else from Savannah. Supposedly, my family's from Savannah, but I don't know anybody in Savannah. My family's really distant. We don't communicate that too much. So, yeah, so my mom, she didn't want to come to Georgia. And we came to Georgia. And this is the only person that I knew in Georgia. So when I touched down, I hit him up. I said, hey, I'm in Georgia. Let's get up. I don't know anybody here. Let's become friends. So we ended up meeting and kicking and everything. And I guess he wasn't really attracted to me because I was a chubby girl, And the friendship kicked off. But as far as relationship, we were never technically in a relationship. And I was kind of young and naive, too young and naive to understand why it's important to have love for self and not let men treat you all type of ways, but that was the situation. We were friends, but it was more so just the intimacy. He never really wanted to claim me in public. We would always hang out, spend time together, but he would be in multiple relationships during our friendship. He never wanted to commit to me, and it was only just about intimacy with him. We would walk past people, he would drop my hand, and it started to take a toll on my confidence, and started to hurt. It was painful, because I had developed feelings for this person, and he was a true friend of mine, my only friend in Georgia. So it was hard for me, but I know that the only way, I just had to forget about him. I had to move forward and start meeting people and meeting new people and doing different things just to not be consumed by this person all the time. So I went on MySpace and I met some people. I met a lot of cool guys. I didn't really meet any of them, but we just talked on the MySpace DMs, and we talked, and some of them I did text and call and talked on the phone, and it was nice just for the company because, I had gotten lonely, and like I said, I didn't know too much of my family here in Georgia. So that's how I met Terrence. And me and Terrence hit it off. I saw his profile. I hit him first. I saw his profile pictures. I thought he was gorgeous. I loved him. He was so cute, And we had talked on the phone. He told me that he was hard of hearing, and he was a little bit self-conscious about it, but it didn't mean anything to me. I could care less. Apparently, that was a mutual thing, and I would find out later on. So the night that I actually met Terrence, I was supposed to be meeting somebody else. Yeah. And I don't know why I would go meet somebody at night, but we were meeting at a park. It was so stupid. Young, dumb me knows better now, but I don't know. I Okay, I don't even have a reason for y'all. No, don't do that. Y'all do not meet these guys at night. Don't do it. It's not safe, okay? Disclaimer. But anyways, the guy who I was supposed to meet, who was somebody else, he never showed. He stood me up. So I'm like, okay, I'm out here. I got stood up. Let me call Terrence and see what he's doing. Now, luckily, Terrence had just gotten off of work. And he was like, okay, I'll swing by. So he came by the park. And he got in my car. He parked near my car. And oh my goodness. He was gorgeous, y'all. He was gorgeous. It was love at first sight. He smelled amazing. I don't know what type of cologne he had on, but he smelled amazing. He had these dimples. It always reminds me of his dimples. You remember AC Slater from Saved by the Bell? That's who he reminded me of, AC Slater from Saved by the Bell. He was gorgeous, y'all. At the time, he had he had a texturizing kit, and most people would think it was corny, but it just fit him. So he was so gorgeous. He was beautiful. And we talked and we kicked it in the car and laughed and everything. And you know, because he was hard of hearing, he had to watch my lips because he didn't want to miss anything I was saying, because just in case he couldn't hear it. And that was such a turn on. I don't know what it was about this grown, handsome man watching my lips, but it was just, I don't know. So anyway, obviously that night went well. We ended up hitting it off. We were texting and talking all the time. You know, just talking on the phone, texting. I was gone, y'all. I was so smitten over this man. Oh, man. We ended up going on our first date. And I was a little bit upset because he was late. And that's only because I think it triggered something in me from all the rejection and the past issues that I've had with men before. And it just made me feel like, okay, dang, I fell for this man. And we've been talking. I'm head over heels. And here he goes already with craziness. And I know now, looking back, I was probably too impulsive and just needed to calm down, you know, and that was my fault. I shouldn't have did that, but I was upset. But we ended up going on that date. So, you know, sorry, I got my cards because I just want to keep my thoughts intact. Okay, let me see. So then, he never got to meet my mom before she went into cardiac arrest. And I regret that. I know that she had a lot of health problems, but I never would have known that she would have. You don't think somebody that has that big a part of your life, that big impact in your life, is going to pass. You never suspect it, you know. You never think that would happen to you until it does. But she ended up passing, y'all. Went into cardiac arrest. I went to the hospital and I came back, and I didn't want to be at the house because that same night she had passed. Like, she had made chicken, and that chicken was in the refrigerator from her dinner, from her making. I just didn't want to be there, y'all. And now that I look back at it, I felt like it was a little bit selfish because, you know, I know at the time my daddy came down from Virginia and my sister was there, and I know they probably needed me as well, but I couldn't see past my own sorrow. I couldn't see past my own darkness, and I just didn't want to be there, you know. And young, dumb kid, not knowing then what I know now, just, you know. So I kind of drowned myself in him. I spent a lot of time at his apartment so I wouldn't have to be home. And yeah, sorry, I'm mixing my cards. Yeah, so we had just, I was just spending a lot of time with him. And he introduced me to his family. And this is significant because at the time, I had just lost my mom. I didn't have any family. I had my sister and my dad, but I didn't have much family that I knew of in the South in Georgia. So for me to be grieving, even though I didn't realize I was grieving, but, you know, everybody copes differently, you know. So for me to be going through what I was going through, and then for him to have me going to these cookouts and bringing me over to the house and meeting all his family, and, you know, them being kind to me and everything, it did something. It solidified a lot of my feelings for him. I was falling hard, you know, and we had finally been intimate. And the first time we were intimate, it was I I was so aggressive and he was so passive, but I will say that I initiated that more so than he did, but he was definitely with it. So, yeah. But that's basically what I was doing. I was staying at Terrence's house. We used to get those $5 pizzas from Little Caesars, so it was just basically just Little Caesars and intimacy, Little Caesars and sex. He'd have his pizza, I had mine, and that'd be it. That's all we do. And like I said, those, when you're intimate with somebody like that and you had a traumatic experience, then feelings start building up and building up. And that's just what was happening. So eventually I met his friends, and this is where the problems start to arise. He had a lot of deaf and hard of hearing friends. He had one friend in particular. We would call her Khadijah. Now, me and Khadijah, we didn't see eye to eye pretty much, only because I did have a jealousy streak and I felt insecure about her. The time that he did introduce us, they were doing sign language, and I couldn't understand them, and she was rubbing his arm and laughing, and I was just like, yeah. But let me tell y'all, this man doing sign language, it was like, it was art. It was art. It was just, he was so beautiful, y'all. Just the sign language and the way he moved his hands, it was just beautiful. And that just blew my mind as well, man. Just, ooh. So, yeah, so anyways, I just didn't like Khadijah too much. I didn't really care for her too much. I thought she was a little bit too close for comfort. There was a time where I found a suitcase. He had a 2-bedroom apartment at the time. She would come over and cook for him. And he would always reassure me that they're just friends. They've been friends since they were kids. It's nothing there. Yada, yada, yada. He wasn't attracted to her like that. He would always reassure me of that. But I would find a suitcase in his second room of her clothing, just there, like a suitcase of her clothes. And it was a lot. I don't know. It was just a lot more for me to deal with. So, that started a lot of problems between us, going back and forth about that. Hold on, y'all. Okay, and that led to multiple fights and breakups. Eventually, with a lot of breakups come a lot of makeups, and we did end up moving in together. Now this brought a shift. This brought a transitional period inside of our relationship, because, and I take full responsibility for this. This is when I started to lie to Terrence. Now, on the sidelines, because Terrence worked a lot, and I'd always admired that about him. I admire that about him to this day. He will work. He's a good worker. He's a hard worker. He worked all the time. As long as I've known him, he's worked. So, because of the nature of the relationship between him and Khadijah, and they started to spend more time together, he was working a lot more now, and I really didn't get to see him. I didn't have too many friends, but I did still have Leo. Now, the nature of me and Leo's relationship had changed. It was more so not me wanting a relationship, but me developing a friendship with him. And it got to the point where he became more so brotherly to me. And I'm surprised to this day that our relationship took that turn, because it was toxic. It was really toxic, but it did. But my issue was because I had lied to Terrence and told him Leo's name was Robert. Let us say Robert. And that wasn't his name. And I don't know why I lied about it. I guess because I didn't want Terrence to leave me if he found out that I was still friends with Leo, but I wasn't ready to give up me and Leo's friendship. I don't know if I felt some type of sick justification because he was friends with Khadijah. I don't know if it just was genuinely my friendship and care for Leo, but I just know that I was dishonest about Leo's identity, and I was wrong for that. And he suspected that, and I carried it on. And what made it bad was I carried it on for so long, and he already knew that wasn't that man's name. He knew that man's name was Leo. He knew that man's name wasn't Robert, and that just sparked further speculation as to, that question of validity of everything else I had told him. rightfully so. So, yeah, things just went on like that for a while. I tried to make Terrence and Leo get together and be cool with each other. That was a bad idea. Thinking about that was a bad idea. Thinking back on it, but that was how I felt like was the best way to solve the situation, was to make them friends so each of them could see what I saw in the other one, and now, no, that was a bad idea. And Terrence did not like it. He was mad about it. But I guess I didn't take heed to it as much because he was still friends with Khadijah. And maybe it was subliminally bitter, maybe. But a lot of things should have been handled differently than what it was. And this led to a lot of fights, other fights, and breakups, makeups, finding women in Terrence's phone, pictures of women who he says is friends, that's not his friends, intimate pictures of women in his phone. There had been a time where I had stole his phone while he was sleeping, ran into the bathroom, locked the door, and he almost broke the door down just trying to get that phone, y'all. It was that serious. Ooh, I remember that day. I had also, because I also don't ever want to be painted as innocent in the situation, it went both ways. It could have been handled a lot better on both sides. I also was messing with women. And I think a lot of that stemmed, I don't even think it was more so, and I don't think it started off more so as that was my preference. I think psychologically, maybe I felt like I was self-conscious when it came to other women, so instead of seeing them as competition, maybe see them as potential. I don't know. I can't decipher it, y'all, but I did, and he approved of it. He said he didn't care, but I shouldn't have did it, y'all, because at the end of the day, cheating was cheating. And even though he did say he didn't care, eventually I would find out later that that wasn't so true. I don't believe it was true. So yeah, so that's how that happened. Let me go. But yeah, so we went through a lot of ups and downs at that time of us living together, with me and the women, and me and Leo's relationship, so it was a lot. It was a lot between me and Terrence. So I will wrap that up as part 1. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Oh, no. I couldn't. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Now we have one more dynamic character in this story, okay? We will call her Natalia, okay? Now, Natalia was an older woman that worked with Terrence that I, Yehudi, had found out about. And if you asked him today, he would swear up and down that he never cheated on me with her. But I just thought it was funny how she would pop up at my job occasionally to pick up a piece. At the time I was delivering for Papa John's. So she would pop up at my job way across town, before they had technically started dating. And yeah, now he'll say that he never cheated on me with her. I don't know. All I know is what he told me, but it was inappropriate. She was an older woman, and I felt like, a lot of times older women can say things to younger men and make them think certain things, but you can't make a man do anything he don't want to already do. And I'm not that naive. So the fights ended up, to where he ended up moving out, and he left, and he ended up living, I think he lived with he says he stayed with his mom for a while, and then shortly after moved in with Natalia. And me and Natalia, we didn't get along. I'm talking hate emails back and forth, her calling me, telling me how good his intimacy was, telling me what I was missing, telling me he was taking care of the children, all this and that. I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot. I'm all over the place. Now, prior to him, I don't know when he met Natalia. I don't know when she started working with him, but prior to him moving in with Natalia, and after he moved out, we did have a moment, you know, where we had been intimate. We did have a special moment, you know, which I will not share as far as what led up to that moment, because it was an emotional moment for him that we shared. And I wanted to make, and I loved this man, you know, I loved him a lot, and he was hurting at the time, and I wanted to make him feel better the best way I knew how as a woman, you know. But some things, learning now as an adult, you know, you can't, when people are dealing with certain things, especially things that are lifelong situations, it's hard to, you can't automatically fix that. That's something that they have to deal with. That's their own journey. You know, you can be there for them, you know, as much as they need to, being a shoulder to cry on, everything, but you can't fix, you just can't fix it like that. So, but I had tried to fix it the best way I could, and me and him were intimate that night, and that's the night that I had conceived. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, so then that went on to him moving in with Nakia. But that in the first, so we'll leave on that with me conceiving, because there's a lot more after that with pregnant Yehudi. That's a lot. That's a big story. So we'll leave on that note. When I do story time 2, part 2, we will talk about how that pregnancy was. Yeah, that was fun. Not really. But we will talk about how that pregnancy went, and the dynamics of that, and yeah, that'll be fun. And then after that, when we get in story time part 3, we will talk about being a mom, being a single mom, and how that went as far as after having a baby. So, all right, y'all. I hope y'all tune in with me next time. Like I said, next time maybe I'll try to do something I like to do, maybe some makeup or some, I like arts and crafts, maybe something while I do my story time. So I hope y'all have a blessed day. Be safe out there. Always remember to prioritize those who prioritize you. All right. Thank you for coming, spending time with Yehudi Shagal. Y'all be blessed, and I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.